Let's bring in Joel Griffith of the Heritage Foundation for his reaction to all of this. A lot going on, Joel. We also have a new Duke University CFO poll. It says more than half of the nation's CFOs think a recession is going to take place within a year.
Yeah, I took a look at that poll earlier. I found it interesting. I'll say the CFOs is a brilliant group of individuals. They know how to run the financials on the companies, but we shouldn't be looking at these day-by-day reports from anyone when it comes to prognosticating. Economists as well have a terrible history at prognosticating. I actually took a look at what the same CFOs said back in 2017, just as we were on the cusp of a stretch of 3% economic growth over the next 5 quarters. And at that point, only 43% expressed optimism going forward, more optimism. And I thought what was most telling was that they predicted only a 2% growth in capital expenditure spending. We actually saw growth that tripled that rate over the coming year. So we need to take that with a grain of salt.
I know Ben Bernanke said we would be at 5% interest rates right now. I mean, what's that line? If you laid all economists end to end, you'd never come to a conclusion. U.S. factory production did pop by the most in a year last month. But I want to get to this. Let's set this aside for a second. Well, let's talk about the policies to keep the economy moving ahead. Let's turn now to what the Dems want. We have a just-released Fox News poll shows Biden falling to a new low. Here's Stephen Colbert going after Elizabeth Warren. She's still dodging questions about whether she's going to have to raise middle-class taxes to pay for a big government single-payer plan. Economists say, yeah, she's going to have to. Watch.
How are you going to pay for it? Are you going to raise the middle-class taxes?
So here's how we're going to do this. Costs are going to go up for the wealthiest Americans, for big corporations.
Taxes, what do you mean by cost?
Yeah. Okay. And hard-working middle-class families are going to see their costs go down.
But will their taxes go up?
Well, but here's the thing.
Here's the thing. I've listened to these answers a few times before.
By the way, this is not set in stone that costs would go down under single payer. Here's the thing, Joel. Is this bold leadership in a softball interview? I mean, she can't say it because she knows she's going to lose. And by the way, health reform, I thought that was their roadmap to winning back the White House. And that's how they got the House. What's going on here?
Kudos to Colbert for pushing on this a bit, but the fact is, we at the Heritage Foundation have added up all of the promises from some of these leading candidates, and we've looked at their proposals to hike taxes. And the fact is, if you were to confiscate every single dollar from those earning $200,000 or more, confiscate every dollar of business income, you still fall trillions of dollars short over the next 10 years for these proposals. Bernie Sanders at least has been more honest. If you look at his proposal for Medicare for All, very similar to hers, he lays out a lot of specifics, and guess what's in there? An 11% payroll tax. And that makes sense. If you look at places like France that have a much larger welfare state, they're paying a 56% payroll tax. That's what we have to look forward to here if these policies are implemented. And Senator Warren needs to be upfront with the American people about the costs of those programs.
Did you just say 56% payroll tax?
In France, it's a combined payroll tax, upwards of 50%.
Holy Toledo. Joel, you're terrific. Love the insights. Come back soon. We have our eyes on